All right. I think we're live, but I'll wait a little bit here before I get started into anything serious. Um, tonight's video is a special Monday edition of our Tuesday show. I am gonna deviate. I'm going to deviate from my normal kind of format of talking about the show schedule. I am going to include that in this video, but for a long while I've been wanting to talk about actually the show business, the business of the shows, changes that we've made, kind of the evolution of our show, and then some other changes that we're going to be making here. And then I'm going to talk a little bit about unexpected issues that have come up that just we have to keep making adjustments. And so I'm gonna that's kind of my rant part that I talked about. I'm gonna just talk about just kind of issues with um with things that I'm going to make changes at our show to try to help that. Okay. So I'm going to really talk a little bit about a lot of this video is going to be toward vendors. So everybody that is on here right now, Mark, or I mean, some people that are on here, everybody that was invited was vendors and stuff. And so if you're a regular customer, these are some of the things that you're going to notice. This is some of the back room stuff that I don't really talk about on our videos, but I am going to talk about it here. That way I can I can kind of talk to all the vendors, and then I am going to talk about some customer stuff also. But I just wanted to take a minute while I'm thinking, for those of you that were at the show yesterday or follow me on a personal page, you'll know that I am going to ACDC in Denver tomorrow. So I won't be making a lot of posts this week. I'm going to be talking about the GI Joe show here tonight also. And so want to say, hey, Doug, hopefully we can have you out at the Bradenton show with Robot Robbie. And thanks, Mark, for coming out. Mark is, well, I'm not going to mention that. Anyway, we will see Mark next at the GI Joe show. Thanks. Hey, August. I'm glad you made it through the rainy day yesterday. And Mike, hopefully you're having a good trip up to Chicago. Thanks for coming out. That's true. But I'm going to be gone for the rest of the week in Denver and Jackson, Wyoming. Taking my daughter to. We're going to try to see the Yellowstone, like at least we're only going to be gone until Saturday night. So I'm hoping to go and see Old Faithful or whatever. I haven't been out there since I was in my a long time ago, and I really haven't been to Yellowstone at all. So, and nope, sir, sorry, there's nothing right now in Melbourne. So I have a list of about 8 or 9 people. I am going to talk about Melbourne here soon. And Mike, thanks for coming out. Thanks for joining us. I'm glad we could be part of. You could be part of the Jeff party here, Diana. I appreciate you being here. And Toy Warp. All right. I'm going to don't do that. I guess Jason was. Oh, Ian, I got to remember I put your hat there, but I'll know it next time. But thank you for that. Toy Warp Vintage Reviews. Check his page out on YouTube. And anyway, we're going to talk about that here in a minute. Thank you, Tony, for coming by. It's Monday. Maybe you don't have a show tonight, but your show is on Tuesday. Watch him at Tuesday. And Joel and Andy, thank you. All right. No problem. Okay, so what I want to start out with is I am going to do a little bit of show stuff here at the beginning, and then I'm going to get into some stuff that happened yesterday. That kind of, well, it's been happening for a while. And so it's just we've got to make changes. It's unfortunate, but and it's nothing like major from vendors perspective, but I want to go over a little bit about the show yesterday. But I do want to just quickly and I'll repeat this again, but we are about less than 2 weeks away from our updated Star Wars and GI Joe Collector Con. I'm going to call it, Collector Fest, really. And at the Altamont, at the new location in Altamont, at the Hilton there. Okay, we are going to have two guests, of which I did start to mention. At least Susanna. So Susanna, who was with us a year ago in Lakeland, she'll be back for this show. She was in The Mandalorian and Boba Fett, and she has some various different parts and stuff like that. So come and meet her in person. And we're also going to have Keon Young, who is Storm Shadow in G.I. Joe. He's going to have some figures, actually, also signed figures that I'm actually going to try to download here while we're talking, because I did forget to do that. Let me see. He's going to have some cool figures. Let me just download these, and these guys. Hopefully, I'll get these guys. These other third-party figures. I'm going to call them independent figures, and I'll show off that here in a minute. Let me just go ahead and so that's in about a week. Okay, so you are going to see some posts. If you're part of that show, I do need, I am going to need some inventory images to share. So please talk about that. All right, so let's talk about yesterday's show. It was really good. Fort Myers was really good. We had our average, or right around our average, for that particular location. Yeah. So I think we usually have around 900 there. So, for the 1 day show, and that is kind of becoming our average 1 day. And that some of them are more than that, and some of them are a little less than that. But in general, that's about what we get. Is about 1,000 people, maybe a little bit more than that, plus kids, which is really good. So that means that we're serving almost 30,000 people a year. Because some of the shows on a 2 day, obviously, we, in Tampa, we had probably around 3,000 people with kids or whatever, because, and so, that kind of counted as 3 shows. So some of the shows are a lot more. But anyway, super awesome that I'm able to make that many people, or get that many people to pay attention to what we're doing in the state of Florida, because there's a lot of stuff going on. And which brings me to some things that have been happening at our shows. Now, you're going to notice one of the things that I've added to the Melbourne. I mean, I want to try to add this QR code to the. I need to remember to do this, because that way people can go right to it, and they can get to the ticketing and stuff like that. But unfortunately, for a little while, I'm going to have this added to the bottom of the show. And Jason there from Toy Warp, he saw what happened yesterday, and this is happening not every show, but almost every show this is happening. Okay, not quite to the degree that happened yesterday, but basically I'm going to have to add this to our flyers, and then we're also going to be printing out. So let me explain this. Okay, so this is a problem that I never thought that I would have. Okay, I never some of you, probably a lot of you, or maybe not all of you, but I when I was a little kid, the Cabbage Patch craze of '84, I remember that. Now I never remember going to the store or anything, but I do remember people would literally bowl people over at the store. I am not a card collector. I don't care about cards. I wouldn't know a $3 million card from a 2-cent card. Okay. So when it comes to this Pokemon stuff, and I don't care. Okay. I mean, that's just straight up my opinion. I believe, in my opinion, like Funko, it's a bubble. Okay. But that's my opinion. I do think that um, I do think that there's always going to be collectors. Um, and I don't even know why I'm saying this, but I don't really have notes, but because I'm just got, but, and I respect everybody who likes it and all of that. That's great that they like it. But right now, I think we just have a lot of speculation in the market. Now, separate from that, that has nothing to actually do with what, what I'm going to talk about. What you have is this Pokemon TCG is so hot right now that you literally have probably 10 to 20 shows a weekend, every weekend, somewhere, like in every town, okay, that are all card shows. And so what is happening, because we spend actual money, we spend real money. I mean, a percentage of every ticket goes back into advertising every show. So we spend a decent amount of money advertising these shows. Now that's gonna go up and change or whatever, in the future. But the point is that we are an advertised show in every town that we're in, and then we are very focused advertising. We only I'm not trying, like when we're in Fort Myers, I'm not trying to get people in Sarasota to come there. I'm focused on a certain mileage around the venue because I just believe people aren't going to drive. They're not going to drive. That's why I also believe that the schedule that I have on October 3rd and 4th is going to work. I could be wrong. I could be wrong. This is an experiment. I believe Kissimmee and Altamont are two different customers, even though they're 35 miles away. I just believe that. Now we're going to have our fans, and I appreciate all of our fans coming out and our followers coming out to each of those shows. But I just believe people don't want to drive anymore. And so that's why we're able to do these shows. But what is happening is because it's such a hot frenzy, okay, for Pokemon cards. And it's such a thing. I mean, anybody that was at the show yesterday, you never saw the few Pokemon people that we got yesterday. You never saw like them have an empty table till the end of the show. I mean, they were pretty busy, and that's great. But there was a show somewhere down the street. So I was told that there was a card show somewhere, which didn't surprise me. Okay, but what we have is we have people. We have signs clearly, like you see on the screen, Florida Toy Shows. Nowhere in there does it say cards. Okay? Nothing in there that says cards. The goal for me is to have something for everyone. Okay? I don't even make cards a headline here because I really only want to have a small amount of cards, just enough for people to be able to bring their kids and they that want cards, or bring people that want cards, and there's something for everyone, that they're the whole family. That is the goal. And I'll come back to the comments here in a minute. But what's happening is people are coming into the show. They're coming up front. They're paying to get in. Okay. Every time we do a show, Lisa wants me to add a sign. Now I was making a joke with her about this sign that had all the different signs to go everywhere, like a Dr. Seuss look like thing, but it's literally like that now, okay? Because there's a problem comes up where somebody literally flips out on my wife, okay, at the front because they think they're somebody, I don't know. And then now I have to create a sign. First it was people coming in, assuming it's free. We're not free. We've never been free. Okay. Everybody that's free, hats off to you for working for free. I don't. Okay. And then our whole business is based around, I'm not a vendor. All this stuff is because I am a collector of stuff and all that. But then we had a Hot Wheels issue. Like, people assume that the Hot Wheels on the table are there. We could just, are there to sell, or were there for them to just take or whatever. And that's not the case. We allow the kids to pick out a car. We could just hand them just a random thing out of a bucket, but we don't do that. We let them pick out. But so what you have is you get adults that come up to the table and they're like, oh, can I buy these? Or I can take one for my so-and-so back home. No. Those are for kids that come in with their parents, and we want them to give them something. Okay. And I'm very proud that we give out at least like 4,000 cards a year. You know, I think it's cool that we're able to do that. And the packs of Pokemon cards, every pack that we give away is not just randomly thrown together. I mean, our friend Butch actually puts those together, and there's no duplicates in those cards. So you know, they are something that's kind of cool that we're able to give out. But what happens is and so then we had to create a sign now. So now we have a sign for that the cars are given away. We have a sign for, we had a guy in well, okay, well, this is just one example, but it's happened other times. We had a guy in St. Augustine that just decided to come to the show to create a problem, okay, because sometimes we get people that don't like our show because they're fans of another show, is what I think, and then they just don't like, you know, whatever. So they tried to say that we didn't have any games, and we had like 6 game vendors. So I came up and he wanted a refund, and I said, well, I'll give you a refund, but what are you looking for? And then he didn't want to go and look. I wanted to show him the game people and all that stuff. He just wanted to create a problem, but he again attacked my wife at the front. Okay. That's running the front. All right. And so, you know, we're going to have to kind of put things in place where, you know, either, I don't want to have a bunch of security and all that, because so what we're going to do, unfortunately, so what's happening with the card people is they're walking in, they're seeing the Iron Man statue, they're seeing our logo, they're seeing all, you know, the ad, everything, right? None of it says TCG show. Okay. We have cards. I get a lot of questions online. Do you have cards? Do you have cards? Yes, we have cards, but I tell them it's not a card show. It's not a card show. We have them, but it's not the whole show. Okay. And so at the front, we have a thing that says, look, if you go in, you pay, you go in, there's no refunds. That's the way the fair thing should be. So we have people that'll go in, they'll come to the show, see everything, see all our signage everywhere, that nothing says card show. And then they'll go in, they'll walk around for a few minutes or whatever amount of time, and they'll come out and they'll go, I want a refund. I thought this was a card show. And we're at no time did it say a card show. And that's what happened yesterday, that Jason's kind of talking about, is this guy decided he was going to attack my wife because he thought it was a card show. So I'm forced now to add this to my thing, and we're going to print out the description. We're going to print out we're going to have a little sheet that's now something else to add to my table at the front that says, you know, yes, we have the cards, but it's not a card show. And that's because the frenzy for these cards is through the roof. And what's happening is people are coming, they think that they're coming to the show down the street, but they're not. Okay. And because I'm advertised and they're not as advertised, this is my guess, but I'm just saying. So that's what I have to do now. Okay.
The other thing that they keep saying is that our ad is deceptive.
Our ad is not this. I mean, they're saying we have deceptive advertising. From a card perspective.
Yeah, they're saying that our advertising is deceptive, because yesterday he said that we had cards on our advertisement, and I said we are not a card show, we are a toy show.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there were cards there though.
But he was saying
yeah. So what I'm saying is that people,
they're saying that our advertising is deceptive.
Well, so what we're gonna do is we're gonna have the ad. We're gonna have the ad that we ran. which is kind of standard almost now. I keep it short. I keep the show name in there, one day only, blah, blah, blah. Okay. But it's in no way does it look like a card show, guys. Okay. So let me go ahead and say, yes, Keon is in Star Trek. He's in a bunch of different stuff. So he'll be Chris, I'm sorry that we missed you. We did actually have the room for you, but I just didn't get to you to invite you guys. I really hope you'll come back for January. I believe we're working on our January schedule, so we'll be back down there soon. And then I just got to invite you guys to some other stuff too. Chris is part of the 501st stuff, and I really need to get them because they've been really good. The local guys around here in Orlando, I don't even know. I guess I would ask them to remember. Oh yeah, yeah, the Cabbage Patch. Okay, the original Dancing Elmo. Yeah. Yes, I think so. Again, I think, and thanks Tony for mentioning it. I think my opinion is I obviously I think that people are going to be collecting this stuff and playing the game forever now, but the right now you have it's so hot. I'm using Funko because when we first started, I would literally, it was like I was batting off these Funko guys, and I didn't want my whole show to be Funko. So I would say, I'm going to take like 3 and that's it, or 2 or 3 and that's it, and that's what we did. And so that's what we've been trying to do with Pokemon. But, because I want to have a show. Yeah, I can see you saying that. Said she can be security. I thought you were the muscle and she was the front and you were the muscle. Okay. All right. Anyway. Okay, cool. All right, Seth. Just remember you said that. Okay. I was selling Pokemon at my first store. Yeah. No, I'm like I said, Mike, I don't think that people won't be buying it. Okay. I just think it's going to go back to the 28-year version. It's not going to be this. Everyone is waiting at frickin' Walmart or Target or whatever at 9 p.m. at the night before to get cards so they can make $10. Okay. They're just not, that's where we're at right now. Okay. And then the other thing is last week there was a show that canceled that said that they canceled because of the venue staffing changed and stuff like that. But usually, in my opinion, again, this is Jeff's opinion, so based on my own work with venues, okay, so what I think happened is this person switched their show over to a TCG show. There's already 20 Orlando TCG shows, and then there's only a certain amount of pool of those vendors. Okay, just like there's only a certain amount of pool of toy vendors. And when you run out and you try to add a show, if you're doing it on the same date or you're doing it and you don't have those relationships, you're not going to fill your 500 tables that you quote people, and then you can't pay for your space. So that's probably why it was canceled. So I'm seeing some cracks, but I'm just telling you that, unfortunately I have to do this. It's not because I don't want card people. Okay. And yeah, Seth, hey, I'll get you whatever. I'll get you the jacket, the whole works here. Don't worry.
Just say that we are upping our security measures.
Yeah. Lisa is upping her own personal security measures. Anyway, okay, went over to her and made light of trying to make her feel better. Okay, I appreciate that, Jason, and all that. And okay, Pokemon group right now full of scalpers. That's really what I was talking about. I just think that there's a lot of people that really aren't fans of Pokemon. They're more about buying the cards that are worth money, flipping them, and all of that stuff. Okay, that's my main thing. Hey, great show. Happy to meet Jack. Oh yeah, and that's great. Picked up some collectibles. Any chance you have a voice actor? I don't know any much about Resident Evil. So if you wanted to, send some stuff, send some names or whatever people might be, you know, affordable, then maybe I would book them. But right now, um, yeah, but right now I don't know. I'm not familiar with the characters in that game, um, Dean, and um, just I'm not against horror stuff. I don't care. Like I mean, it's not my thing. Like I know it's a big deal. Um, like I know Mark sometimes talks about Halloween Horror Nights at Universal, and people love that and all that. It's just not my thing. I feel like there's so much real horror in the world that I'm not interested in spending time in that. But that I do know that it's a big thing. It's just not for me. So if people quote different movies and horror movies and stuff, I'm gonna be a dummy on that. So, but I appreciate other people that are into that. So anyway, Andy says has to be idiot proof. Okay. Let me now I want to bring up some other vendor stuff. I guess I should bring up my little happy sad face here while I'm talking about this. Um okay, some vendor stuff. Yesterday we had some things happen that were kind of weird. We added in you know the Fort Myers location sometimes is hard to fill. People don't Mark hasn't been there. I'm not throwing him under the bus. I'm just saying, it's hard to get vendors that we have. Our core is in Orlando, and so getting them to drive to Fort Myers and stuff. So we gotta find some new vintage and stuff like that. We gotta find some new vendors down there. Not that the ones that were there or anything wrong with them, although I am going to talk about one person. So what you had yesterday or this weekend was something unique where all of a sudden I had a couple places that I could add in people, but I had a bunch of people want to have tables. And then what has been happening probably for at least a couple years now or more, where we have had let's say drama at a show, okay, before the show opens, you with vendors, usually what it is someone has gotten there, the person that got there, I'm just going to say vendor A, they got there at 6:30, they set up their stuff on the wall, they're all ready to go at 7:30, and then they go out and they can shop other vendors, or vendors can shop them. Okay. This happens. This is part of the thing. So if you're just a customer that is watching this, that's kind of what happens. And then usually, so then you will get a set of people that will show up at 8:30 or 8:20 or 8:40 or something like that. And then they've showed up, and let's say they have a wall table. Well, the people around them have now, like, they're taking up every vendor wants the maximum amount of space that they can get. Okay. And so what has happened is, and this happened yesterday, is when you don't show up, what I'm going to call on time, that's before 8 o'clock, really before that, by 7:30, in my opinion, you should be there. But another problem, I'm going to say mostly with the Pokemon people recently, but not necessarily. This is just usually with newer people, I would say. They're not experienced. I try to tell them when, I'm just starting to think of solutions as I'm saying this. But so what will happen is they'll show up at like 8:30 and they expect their whole entire space to be there. Like, it's not going to be there. People on this side have kind of set up shelves because the vendors are there for every inch. They're going to take every inch they give you that I give them. And so now, if they're in the middle of two people that are already set up, it appears as though they don't have the space that they should have, and then they get upset. That's happened a few times. So I'm making a new rule. Because, again, we have had, I'm 99.9% of all the vendors that come are super friendly, super awesome. And I would bet that if you asked our vendors about other vendors, everybody, it's like a family we have now. Okay. People have done, maybe they don't do every show, but they do different shows, and they do the shows in their area. Okay. But everyone is helpful. Everyone is, people that have done the show before, they're always helpful. And even new vendors are 99% helpful. But every once in a while, you'll get someone that's new, or they just have an attitude like they are better than somebody else. And so they think that they can just, start MFing people around them to get their way. And it's not going to work. The next person that does that, and I did it that time, and I'll do it again, I'll just give them their money and send them out, because we don't need them. We don't need the stress. I don't need the stress. Other vendors don't need the stress. Customers don't need that kind of person at our show. So I'm going to be cutting people off. So please, from now on, try to get there before 8. If you're not there by 8 o'clock, then whatever you signed up for could be moved. Okay? You will still have a spot, but it may not be a wall now, because we're trying to open the show. And once 8 o'clock happens, we're like going, okay, we need to clear the aisles. We want to be ready to open at 8:30, really. Okay, is what we really want to do. And it's just, what happened like yesterday is this woman came to me and she's like, well, you said we're going to have these 10 by 10s or whatever. And that's not what I sold you. I didn't sell you a 10 by 10. We don't do 10 by 10s. Just so happened the layout of the room gave you extra space in the back. Okay. I also had a person that, was complaining to me about their spot wasn't that big. So, well, buy another one. Get a bigger space. Okay. I clearly on the application say what the sizes are. And if you really want to know the size, hit me up. I'm here. I get messages all the time. So the people that are stressed, that create stress, we're not gonna want to give them tables, basically.
And we did have 2 vendors that showed up at Coral Springs after 9 o'clock.
Huh? What was that?
We had 2 vendors that showed up.
Oh, yeah. But okay. That's okay. Yes. Okay. My wife is telling me we had people show up after 9 o'clock. Vendors. Okay. They were new. Okay. And I don't remember what they sold, but it's not here. You can still show up. Okay. And I will try to have a space for you at 9 o'clock. You can almost forget it. Okay. But if you hit me up, because what I do is at 8:15 or 8:30 or whatever, I'll start texting people. Are you coming to the show? Are you coming to the show? And in that way I can fill in their table if they ignore me. Okay. In this case, both of those people said they were coming, they were running late, but they didn't show up and then complain about my space. So if I would have moved them, it is what it is. So that's going to be added to the description in the application. Okay. So in the application, it's going to say, if you don't show up by 8 o'clock, all bets are off. You'll still probably have a spot, but don't assume that it's going to be a wall space, because, or a corner or something like that, because we're now making sure that the show opens on time and properly. So, I mean, I hopefully that won't upset anybody, but I don't want to create any rules. I don't want any rules, but that just doesn't work, because, people, we wouldn't have walkways, because the first show that we ever did. I just let people do whatever, and next thing you know, we had like a literally like a 2-foot walkway. You couldn't get a stroller or nothing. I underestimated that show a lot. But so some vendors have probably heard me talk about don't be in the aisle. That's not because I'm a jerk and I don't want you to have your stuff in the aisle. The reason why is because if I let you go ahead and do that, then the next person is going to do it, and the next person's going to do it all the way down the line, and then next thing you know, we're not going to have any walkway. And we get a lot of families that come to our shows with kids, little kids, strollers, and all of that stuff. And so that's why I'm kind of a I'm well, not kind of. I'm pretty picky. That's pretty much my number one thing is the aisleway. Okay.
You could have the fire marshal show up at any time.
Yeah, and the fire marshal and all of that. So playing Post Malone. All right. Okay, great. See you back.
The thing is too is that
Thanks, Dean. We'll be back.
Dropping vendor names that they're helping after the show opens.
Okay, yeah, I will talk about that. Hey, thanks, Mike, for coming out. So what you're saying is I have a chance at a great spot. I'll bring a measuring tape. That's great. Okay, move them to the parking lot. Oh, that's great. That's great. Okay, this is good stuff. Okay, Lisa, you were bringing up. Okay. Now, hey, Derek. Glad you joined us. Okay, so the other thing I think my wife was just talking about is what we've been trying to do. We're going to make a change on the vendor wristbands. The goal now is going to be I'm leaving them up front. Okay, for the most. Excuse me. We're not there yet. But I'm going to be making this change. So if you have a super vendor badge, please bring that. Okay, please bring it. Don't leave it in your car. I guess it does melt because it is plastic. But yeah, please bring your super vendor badge. Okay, and then if not, I haven't gotten that far. How about you let me get there? Okay. So what we're going to do is we're going to have I'm going to buy kind of a generic Florida Toy Shows vendor badge that we're gonna everybody new will get one, and they'll have their name on it, and we'll put the date of the show on there. And so when you start out at the beginning of the show, when you get your table, you're gonna have 2 badges, okay, per show. And eventually, if you're a regular, you will get a super vendor badge. But right now, what we're going to do is we're going to make it so that way you get 2 badges for the show at every show. Then if you need extra, okay, more than the 2, okay, we're going to figure out if we're going to charge for that. But right now I'm not charging for that. So you're going to have to go to the front and ask Lisa or or my daughter, whoever's running the front, for vendor wristbands. Okay. And then I want to stress this. So the people at the front do not know, they don't know your helper's name. They don't know your helper's car. You don't know anything. They don't even know you have a helper. Okay. We don't even know all the vendors. Okay. The people at the front. So they have to call you when they show up. You can take their wristband, but they need to call you because we don't do name drops. Yeah, true. We don't do name drops at the front. We don't do I'm with so-and-so at the front. Okay. We just don't do it. We're running I guess a tight ship, but we're just trying to keep things running as smoothly as possible. Okay. As smoothly as possible. There's a lot of moving parts at the show, and we're trying to keep this running. Okay, Inga. Wait a minute. Whoa. Agree with make your rules. Bender, we want every inch, but on time. Yes. Okay. Yeah, and like I said yesterday, I wanted to just basically throw this lady out because she made a bunch of money. I told her I'd give her a partial refund or whatever because she didn't have the space that she thought she was supposed to have. She showed up at 8:35. Okay. And then after she made all this money at the show, she's still giving me headaches. All right. And I should have just said, look, you're out of here. I don't care if it's 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock. I don't care. But I didn't. I kept my cool. I moved on. But she won't get another space for me. Okay. I'm scheduled to have in 2056. All right. All right.
Cattle dogs don't count.
Haley, is that your dog?
I believe so.
Okay. No, you're good on that. Okay. James is going to want a badge or something. Like, okay. So that is, so again, the main points that I was really, talking about, please show up. The earlier you are, the better situation you're in, because even if you're set up, because the Pokemon guys will tell me, this is what I've heard from them. So I know I'm picking on them tonight. I don't really want to do that, because a lot of them are like legit good. They show up early and everything. But some of them, when I kind of check them, like, yo, when you guys going to get here? Like, and they're like, well, it only takes us 20 minutes to set up. So I'm like, yeah, but you guys, I don't even know if you're showing up 20 minutes before the show opens. That's not the way we can do things. I can't have that, and I can't put you in a really great spot, because not great spot. I can't put you toward the front. Okay. If you're going to do that, I just can't do it. Okay. And then, yes, your dog. Okay, cool. And hey, Pam, hopefully you're still coming to Altamont. I think we'll see Pam in Altamont. Did the show make, we were on, you know what? I never looked. I just, we were on live. We were on live.
Yeah, they were doing live feeds.
They were doing live feeds yesterday. So she said I need to, cool. All right. I still have your space for right now. All right. I appreciate everybody coming on here. Again, I'm going to, go back to the actual show now. So, I don't like to really be at all negative, but I do want people to know that I am making changes. Almost every show, we see a change that needs to be made. Okay. And the more I do this and the more shows that we do, I realize more and more that I'm not a vendor. I'm a crappy vendor. Okay. So come to GI Joe and stuff, because I'm a crappy vendor. I give great deals. Okay, I'm not as good at deals maybe as Mark, but I do have some deals. But anyway, my point is that I need to stay focused on running the show. I am not a vendor. I only run the show. I only want to run the show. And this is not anyone's fault but mine. Okay. But yesterday, we were supposed to have one more walking aisle. And because I wasn't there, I was getting people donuts and coffee and making sure all the guests were good. I wasn't there when somebody set up the wrong way. And so rather than moving their whole sit up, because I made the map, I designed the show, almost every table in there, I put them in that spot. Okay. So if you walk through, and I started moving people around, I spend a lot of time making these maps, and this particular person was set up in the wrong direction, and it kind of, messed some other people's tables up behind them. But again, it's not their fault. It's my fault for not being there to make sure that, or obviously making my instructions clear enough to TK, that to make sure, but at the end of the day, I need to be there to run the show the way that I want it run. It's, anyway. No, I I don't have the Brooklyn Bridge. $3.50. But thank you, Jarek, for coming out. Hopefully you had a good show yesterday. I know there was a decent amount of comics. Hope maybe you were able to shop for some. And thank you, Inga, for coming out and being, you guys are great supporters. We'll see James probably here in October or something, maybe Bradenton, he said. I don't know. And then you could have came. We could have found space for you out there, not inside, because it was. I mean, we had somebody show up like at the lit there. I said, dude, you're on the wait list. You weren't even in this show. And he goes, oh man, I didn't get that email. And I'm like, okay. So I ended up finding a spot, a small spot for him. But don't do that, please. Message me if you're gonna just show up. Okay. Um, all right, let me go through a couple shows or a schedule here, and this is the updated schedule. It is subject to change a little bit because I do have people. I'm waiting for some stuff to get back to me from venues, but right now we're running. We have everything's contracted through the 18th of October. I'm waiting on some details here for the RP funding show that I just kind of threw out there because the date is available. So kind of in process there. Now, the January 3rd, Coral Springs, I'm going to be posting that soon because they're already hitting me up for money. I know we were just there last week, but I already am giving them money for that date. And so I'm going to open the tables up here. And yeah, I'm with you. I'm with you. Okay, awesome. All right. We'll be there. You'll see some vendors you haven't seen there yet, James, and I think I'll be setting those up. Yeah, I think I'm gonna mail some to you, Lee, because I'm gonna be gone the rest of the week, and I'll look up, or you can message me your address, your mailing address, and I'll send you some because I do appreciate Lee from Living Dead Comics supporting us and putting our flyers out and stuff. And he's been a supporter of us from the rip. We'll get him to set up one of these days. Comics do sell at our show, but anyway, that's all right. He's got a store and he's super busy over there. Visit him over there in Orlando. Okay. Okay. So this is our schedule. So our next for the rest of the next month, we're gonna have Star Wars. We have two guests. We have Susanna Malik. We'll have back, and from Mandalorian Boba Fett, she was a Jawa, and then I'm trying to remember what this character's name. I don't remember right this minute, but anyway, she was another character in Boba Fett, and then we'll have Storm Shadow, voice of Storm Shadow, and a lot of other characters, including there. Before I leave, or while I'm talking about that, I do want to show you. Let's see if I can really quickly. He's going to be bringing some action figures from probably a very cool. These are a couple of them. Next week, I'm going to go ahead and do a whole thing. Oh, so Keon Young, he's got his own figure here from Chicken Fried Toys. These guys are really cool with the older Old West style figures. So here he is again, as his character there. But Chicken Fried Toys, I wish I could get him to come to the show. Maybe we can get him at a show. But he will be there live in person on the 9th, our first guest at the G.I. Joe Star Wars show, along with Susanna. And for Melbourne, I am full. We are full. I'm going to go over there and see if I can find some more space. I underestimated the amount of people that would want to do this show. The size of the building is about the size of Altamont. It's not huge. Okay. Now, so I just, when I start out in a new town, I don't take up a huge spot. And these guys invited us to come to their, yeah, thanks, Mary, for all of your help, by the way, on getting these guests. Jack's been a great. Jack's and his wife was really nice, and they've been really cool. Anyway, so in Melbourne, we will have Keith Coogan there. I just wasn't able to update the graphic here. He will. Okay, see this is notice it says the third, January 4th is a third. I think I fixed that. Okay, Mike, I think I fixed that. Okay, and then
I think it was on the 4th this this year. That's why.
Okay. So so anyway, we will Melbourne is full. I have a waiting list. That's going. Find me a space. I have to go over there and see what space I can add, if there is anything.
No.
No, no, but maybe we can extend a discount. We can extend maybe a discount. We'll talk to Lisa about that, and I'll have that. That is a great question. That's a great question.
Typically, I don't. Vendors do pay the door price, so.
Okay. All right. So come and hey Mike, just come and support the show, okay? And support your other vendors. Anyway.
And tell them the price of Star Wars.
Let's see. Do you have it? Yes, I do have space at the Star Wars show. If you go to floridatoyshows.com, there will be an application there, and I do have some space left, but I'm down to the end basically. And then okay, now I will say that with the Star Wars show, I'm glad Lisa brought this up. It is going to be a flat $10 all day. We're not doing our normal 9 to noon price, and we're also not doing the $5 from VFW. So
$5 is gone.
Yeah, so we're doing a flat $10, and I'm investing in the guests. The goal here is to make this a bigger show, because what's cool about this is that there's a hotel that is attached to the actual event. I'll make this a little bit bigger for you guys. So this is at a hotel now. So that means you could come get a room, maybe bring some stuff to trade. It's not really a thing down here in Florida, but you could do it. And hopefully maybe we can make this into something going forward. We've been running this Star Wars show for probably, 6 years. Usually I would say our biggest show is usually June or February, when we were running it 4 times a year. But we will, anyway, but we'll probably have this again, maybe in a different timeline. We put this together kind of a couple months ago or a few months ago, and then I've added the guests. I want to try to do something with this show that we've been running for a while. So I appreciate everybody coming out, listening to my, talk about the show stuff. Some negative, but it's not really negative. It's just really house cleaning. Just like we're just trying to make it run as smoother and happy, and make everybody comes in happy. All the vendors are happy. We don't need unhappy people. Exactly. We don't need any. We want to have no drama. We like no drama. We like things easy. West Palm, we love West Palm for that. Do a monthly ultimate, because it's down the road from your house. I know. All right, so I am getting you guys approved for St. Augustine. The other ones I've got to figure out, so I will do that. But thanks a lot, guys, for coming out, and I will see you a week from Sunday. I'm going to be heading out again. Probably won't have a lot of posts this week because I'm going to be out west, but I will be posting just what's going on out there. Have a good week, and we'll see you soon. All right. See you soon, guys. Bye now.